All right. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, depending on where you're tuning in from, and welcome to this week's mobile coaching stream. My name is Patrick France, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest, and I will be your host for today's stream. If you guys can hear me out there, let me see some good mornings, some good afternoons, depending on where you're tuning in from. Let's see those in the chat. Good morning, Lou, Jay. Hopefully you're doing well. Thank you for that. Colin, hopefully you're doing well. Drew, appreciate that as well. Anyone have D Pro? No idea. Haven't looked at that one today yet. So we should be live both on Facebook and on YouTube. Hey there, hopefully you're doing well. Waiting to see if everything is coming through. If you're over on our Facebook page, make sure to say hello. Don't be shy. Also, depending on where you're tuning in from, or regardless of where you're tuning in from actually, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel or like the page depending on where you're watching from. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Good morning, Wahid. Hopefully you're doing well. So, as always, during our mobile coaching streams, we'll start off by taking a look at what's going on in the market. Then we'll dive into our topic of discussion. And then, as always, we'll finish off with our fan favorite of analyzing any stock that you want to take a look at in less than 10 seconds. So, without further ado, looking at the markets right now, the Dow is down about 0.2%. Nasdaq's up just shy of a full 3% for the session. S&P 500 up 1.4%. VectorVest Composite up 1.1% so far. That market action has our needle 3 ticks into the green. Therefore, today's market is bullish and VectorVest advocates buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. As always, if you ever want a detailed description of what's actually going on in the markets, make sure to tune into the daily color guard report found right below that gauge, where we cover what went on in the market today, what to expect for tomorrow, what news you need to be aware of, and how to prepare yourself for the next trading day. In essence, watching this quick little video will make sure that you never get caught off guard with what's going on, and make sure you stay on top of things here. Hey, Chris, hopefully you're doing well. Glad to see you here today. Green is gooder. Yeah, some people like green. All right, so getting into a breakdown of that gauge, as we always talk about, the gauge gets its colors from that top row of lights on our color guard here. Now, the color guard analyzes 3 of our key components of our market timing system. The first is the price, which is looking at the price of the VectorVest Composite. And the VectorVest Composite is an arithmetic indexed average of about 9,200 stocks out there. So it gives you a better representation on what's actually going on rather than looking at small subsections of the market, such as the Dow's 30, Nasdaq's 100, or even the S&P's 500. The second indicator is the RT, or relative timing. And the relative timing is looking at the short-term price trend in the market. It's cast on a scale of 0 to 2. So since it's above 1 right now, that tells us the short-term trend is up and getting stronger day over day and week over week, which is why we see that green light there. And then the third indicator is the BSR, the buy to sell ratio, which is analyzing the number of buy rated stocks in the database and comparing it to the number of sell rated stocks in the database. This gives us an indication on the overall market health. So since there's about 4 times as many buys and sells in the database, that shows us there is overall market strength currently. Then the trends of these 3 indicators are comprised to come up with our MTI, or a market timing indicator. And this is looking at the underlying trend of the market. Once again, cast on a scale of 0 to 2, above 1 tells us the underlying trend of the market is up. But as we talked about just a few weeks ago, the MTI is in extremely elevated territory. We can stay there for some time, but at the same time, we need to be careful and need to be cautious here. Take advantage of these uptrends while they last, but don't get greedy. As the old saying goes, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So right now is not the time to be greedy and shooting for, major gains that you would typically look for off the bottom of a market. APPH, is it good to keep investing? Robbie, I don't really follow that one. I know Glenn does. But, if you stick around towards the very end, we'd be glad to analyze that at the end of this session and see what it's telling us there. Why did the market skyrocket? The Fed. That's the whole thing that we're talking about here today, is you cannot fight the Fed. So this is something I learned a long time ago, and a lot of you have, but just in case you haven't, I want to make sure that we stress this, especially with the Fed announcement yesterday. They're raising rates about 0.25%. He said multiple times, if you listen to the interview, they were, surprised with how strong the labor market's doing. They don't see it as a high probability that this is the worst of it, but at the same time, there is that chance that this could be the worst of it. So that's why we're starting to see the markets rallying. And, at the same time, we still need to be cautious with what's going on and pay attention to how their policy changes, because that's really been the lead factor throughout all of 2022 and coming into this year as well. I think the Fed won't raise rates next year is my understanding. Well, I think it's that they talked about it in their meeting, and they talked about it when Powell was being interviewed. They still see some more potential rate hikes, but what they expect and how far they think they're getting close, they still say they have work to do. But they are going to update all of their projections and all of their models in March. So for right now, they gave exactly what the markets were expecting. So therefore, markets like less uncertainty, and that's what we got. And that's why we're seeing the markets rallying right now. Now, when the Fed updates their projections and releases that data, then we might see some potential cause for concern depending on what they show. That will give us a lot better insight on not only, how high they expect to see rates go, how many more rate hikes they have, but, when or how long they expect to continue to hold rates at that level before they start bringing them back down to what we've expected over the last decade or so. Why does oil stocks going down? Probably because, I don't know. It's anybody's question. Still fear of a potential recession coming in some point this year. The probabilities and all the analysts are still saying that they do see a potential recession sometime this year, and that's probably going to be why the talking heads on TV try to use that as their reasoning there. Hey, appreciate that, Mark. Good morning. Hopefully you're doing well. All right, so getting back into it, after the MTI, the next indicators, the trend column, which shows two parts of the trend each and every day. The first part is what we like to call the primary wave, which shows the short-term or simply weekly trend of the market. As we can see, it is up since the price of VectorVest composite is higher than what it was compared to 5 trading days earlier. Second part is looking at the underlying trend, or the MTI, and since the MTI is above that level of 1, the underlying trend of the market will remain up. Last but not least, we look at the calls column, which stands for our confirmed calls, and our confirmed calls are our most conservative timing system here at VectorVest. They're our last signal we get to get into the market, and our last signal we get to get out. As we can see, we still remain that confirmed up signal as of today. Now, last but not least, one last thing we like to check on every single day, no matter whether we're going to be buying a new position or selling, short selling, or buying a contra ETF, whatever you're doing, always make sure that the probabilities are on your side that day. And looking at the advanced declines tells us that. The advanced declines tells us how many stocks are moving higher for the session compared to how many stocks are moving lower for the session. So what we want to look for is a 2-to-1 bias. Right now, 66% of stocks are moving higher, 24% of stocks are moving lower, so therefore easily beating that 2-to-1 ratio we prefer to see. So if you're looking for a day to be buying right now, we have the odds in our favor currently. What was it? I can finally get back into Meta, sold it for a loss end of 2022. Hey, there you go. Meta's really driving the FANG stocks higher here today. I was looking around. I forgot that they released earnings earlier, or earnings last night, and I was wondering why FANG was up so much this morning, but found out and saw the news on Meta. Stock buyback, $5 billion cuts. Markets love that. All right, so today, we can't fight the Fed, and this is what we continue to talk about. We've been talking about a couple of weeks ago the MTI and those extreme levels we note. We talked about it just a moment ago. We are seeing the markets in those extreme peak or overbought territory in the market currently. So, as we know though, we just talked about the Fed as well. We can't fight the Fed for the time being until something else changes or we get more insight from the Fed and their mentality and what they're planning on. We got to be able to take advantage of it while it lasts. So, how do we do that? Well, first thing we always talk about here a lot is money management. As we've talked about in the past, we have the 1% rule, the 50% rule, and then also setting yourself a target. If you're going to be setting yourself a target, and especially given the current market conditions, we know the Fed has put some air into the markets, seeing the markets rallying a little bit here. So take advantage of it while it lasts. But instead of, let's say, if you set yourself a target of 50% gain, instead of shooting for that 50% gain, maybe ease that down a little bit. Maybe 30% or 25%. You take that, if you get that profit or you get that gain, you take that profit off the table, you move on. You can always get back in, but right now at the tops of markets or, when we're seeing the conditions that we're seeing, we'd rather be on the side of caution, but, take advantage of it while it lasts. As always, we're trend followers here at VectorVest, so therefore, we're going to continue to follow the trend and take advantage of it to the upside. But we also have the added insight of MTI, the buy to sell ratio, the canary in the coal mine, if you will. And we need to be able to utilize those so that way we can outperform the market again and again. But 1% is, hey, there you go, Fireblazer. I like that. 1% of zero is still zero. That is correct. Good math skills today. Let's see. Thoughts on medical devices stocks. And no, once again, if you want to see some stocks analyzed, make sure to stick around towards the end and we will gladly get to those. FNGU would have been great if we did not get stopped out. Yeah, Jay, I called the right trade, but it got stopped out Monday morning or Tuesday morning right out of the gate and then went right back up. I got stop loss hunted and it feels bad, but hey, it happens. Got to follow your plan. So getting back into it though, so right now the markets are still rallying. Take advantage of it while it lasts. Well, if they're rallying higher, where can we find some potential trading opportunities that can make us some money on the short term? Well, under the stock pick ideas, there we go. Man, everything is all out of whack today. There we go. High momentum stocks. Looking for stocks that you can take advantage of, make quick returns, and then get out. This is the one thing that we're looking for in this current market. We're not looking to, once again, hold a position for the next 3, 6, 9 months. We're looking for short, quick, bursty trades. So that way, what I mean by that is, finding trades that have strong momentum, you can jump on board real fast, make 10, 20, 25, 30% maybe, and then you're taking your profit off the table and rinse and repeat. This could last maybe a couple of days, maybe a week or two, but while it lasts, take advantage of it. Just because we get to those top heavy levels doesn't mean we instantly go running for the hills. We have to see confirmation of that, which we currently have not had as of right now. FNGD, I would really not like to be an FNGD today. That's for sure there, Joe. So, ACLS. As always, make sure the stock is comfortable for you. So we analyze the 4 indicators here at the bottom. RV at 1.49 tells us the stock has great long-term potential. RS at 1.38, less risk associated with it. But if you're looking for, high momentum plays, high or quick in and out plays, the main focus is going to be RT. You still want to make sure that it has decent fundamentals and it fits your risk tolerance, but the main focus when looking for momentum plays is definitely going to be the relative timing. Once again, the relative timing is looking at the short-term price trend of the stock, and it's looking at more of, not only the direction, whether the stock is moving higher, moving lower, but also the magnitude of that move. So above 1 to closer to 2 it is, the stronger the uptrend is. Below 1 to closer to 0 it is, the stronger the downtrend would be. When we look at the graph, we can see this stock in just the last 3 months has gone from about 60 all the way up to about 120. So it's doubled in price over the last 3 months. The RT has been up there in between that level of 1.5 and the level of 2, and the stock continues to climb. Looking at some technical analysis on it, we have a 3 and 8 exponential moving average, and those are still positive, so short-term momentum is still favoring the upside. And if we wanted to change our graphs to see more technical analysis, as always, we can go to the graph settings at the bottom, choose the lower indicator, and let's just say we'll do MACD. Going back, MACD still positive. Had a little bit of a pullback, but now starting to climb. One thing I'd be careful of when looking at MACD, looking at the histogram, you are seeing lower highs and lower lows, telling us that this uptrend may be starting to exhaust itself a little bit, but that doesn't mean that it's going to instantly start reversing. It means that, we just want to set our expectations a little bit more in reality with what we're seeing in the overall market and with the look of the stock. If we go to the next one, LSCC, another one, great uptrend over the last 3 months. You have the MACD still showing positive. The 3 and 8 exponential moving average is still positive. So yeah, take advantage of these uptrends while they last, but don't get too invested into them and allow that to cloud your judgment. At the same time, we always want to trade off of a trading plan or more of a systematic approach rather than an emotional approach. So while momentum trading can cause more emotion in your trading, make sure that if you are going to take advantage of these short-term trends or take advantage of the last little bit of the rally that we're seeing, make sure that you have everything in place and that you have your emotions in check, so that way you don't get caught off guard or end up losing money in a trade that you should have taken your profits and moved on from there. Can I have a Big Mac at MACD? Yeah, if you go drive down to your local McDonald's and ask them for a Big Mac, they would be glad to give you one there. All right, Decker. Now this one, you're seeing a nice steady uptrend, but you're definitely starting to notice that volatility is slowing down a little bit, or that magnitude of that uptrend is starting to slow down. What I mean by that, let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. You can see these bigger moves here, even a bigger move here, but this last little bit of this uptrend so far has been relatively flat. Yeah, it's still making money, but the momentum is definitely starting to wane a little bit. You can see over that same time frame, the MACD slowly moving lower as well. The 3 and the 8 also converging. While they still are moving up, they're also converging, and that is definitely a warning sign that we need to be careful of. EMA squeeze, 3 and the 8, short-term trading, Titan stops. There you go, Maria. That's what I like to see, or that's what I like to hear. All right, so if you're looking for some short-term momentum plays, once again, high momentum stocks under the stock pick ideas is a great place to go. Another one, my personal favorite, I believe it's under the premium watch list. If we go to the premium watch list, here it is, Daily Boomers % price change. Now, anybody in the Jockey Club knows I love this search. There's a lot of stocks that are high flyers on a daily basis that populate in here that you can take advantage of. I use it for day trading in the Jockey Club. So for our Jockey Club members, you already know what to do with this list, but these are going to be stocks most of the time you're not really going to be trading for multiple days. These are going to be more that short-term, quick in and out momentum plays that, are more geared for a day trader. But occasionally you will find some of these stocks that, will continue to blast off higher for consecutive days in a row, for 2-3 days before you start noticing that momentum slowing down and start pulling back. So these are great opportunities if you're looking for high momentum trades. you're worried about, waking up tomorrow and having all of a sudden the market's moving in the other direction. If you want to be in cash overnight, take advantage of these during the day, close out by the end of the day, and then that way the next day your portfolio is still sitting the same way you left it the night before, and you don't have to worry about, is this rally going to start fizzling out, and am I going to get caught off guard and caught when it reverses? So this is a great way to take advantage of some really strong momentum plays on a very short-term basis, depending on your preference. Can I join the Jockey Club? Fireblazer. Anybody can join the Jockey Club. Just give our supporter call. They'll tell you exactly how there. All right. So we saw Lucy up 176% so far for the session. TENX 91%. CONL up 30%. Nice steady rise. Carvana's been one that's been making the names as of late. Silvergate, another nice run here today, up almost 30%. So you're seeing a lot of really big names making the list and all rocketing higher. Coinbase, for example, up 20% here today. Meta, 25%. Upstart, the one that nobody knows exactly what they're doing, but they pumped it right at the very top, up 26% here today. Affirm, FNGD, Redfin, Webull, Root, a lot of big names, Beyond Meat. I mean, you could go down this list and find some really good candidates to trade. Now, the bigger names are going to be the ones that may be able to run a little bit longer than just a day or two. If they're, $1 to $5 and less, maybe even under $10, those are going to be the ones you're going to be focused more on just as a day trade. But ones that are up, or ones that are either ETFs or up the $15, $20 range, those are going to be the ones that you want to go through, filter out the list, and those could be the ones that have that bigger move over a few day period rather than just a 1 day period. What search is this? This is the Daily Boomers % price change found under the premium watch list. It's the upper right hand corner underneath the featured one. Now also, as we talked about though, we're trend followers. Just in case things do start to unravel a little bit from where we're at, especially given where the MTI is at. Well, right here in that same list, indexed ETFs bearish. So therefore, if you're looking for a potential hedge, you can also find it right in this one section. So this is your one-stop shop to find high momentum plays and protectionary plays as well. Where do you see these again? So this is under the premium watch list there, Lifestyle. These are all under the premium watch list that we're looking at right now. Now, as I did mention a little bit ago though, or in the description of today's stream, there is a pro tip. If you are worried about, what's going on in the markets, if you're worried about you have some really good gains, you don't want to quite close them out, but if the market does instantly reverse in the next couple of days, you don't want to get caught off guard. A few opportunities or a few ideas, as we just mentioned. One, picking up a contra ETF, adding a little bit to your position over time as a potential hedge. Two, using options. If you don't trade options, I highly recommend taking a look at some of our options courses that we have. We have beginners, intermediates, and advanced options courses you should definitely take a look at. But one of the key options trades are either, a spread to help mitigate some of that, either sell a put on your long position to, add as like an insurance policy, or, selling covered calls, depending on the stock and how much the momentum is moving behind it. Covered calls could be a decent idea, but the main thing is if you're trading options with a high IV, which we'll probably be seeing right now in a lot of the options chains, since stocks have gone up over the last few months, is selling in a high IV market, buying in a low IV market. Am I recalling correctly? Develop mobile app. So I am not a developer. I work closely with our development team when we were first releasing the app, and then throughout, a lot of the lifespan of it. On adding new functionality, new features, I work closely with our customers who are testing it getting their feedback, getting your guys' feedback throughout these streams. So that way, all of your guys' insight goes right into the development of future ideas and future features that go into it here. So yeah, if you guys have feedback, anything, always let me know in the chat or in the comments, because that does go directly to our development team. So that way you guys get everything that you wanted plus more. All right. How much are the courses? I don't have the course costs off the top of my head, Lifestyle, but once again, just give our support a call. They can help you out. All right, so that's going to be it here for the day. That's going to be the main thing. Before we jump into DTI on the mobile app, Jay, yeah, that is definitely something that keeps getting brought up over and over again. Unfortunately, I don't have any updates on that. So without further ado, I do have a surprise here for everybody here today. It was something that was delivered to me this morning. I've got my VectorVest merch swag bag, if you will. And so just to highlight some of the stuff that is coming from the store, I'm trying to remember the link off the top of my head. I think it's just vectorvest.com/store. Let me just go ahead and double check that real fast. com/store. No, that's not it. Is this the Oscars? It feels like it. Hold on one second. All right, so I have Glenn. Glenn is right on the other side of the wall for me. But I have Glenn getting that for us, and he is going to be putting it into the chat any moment now. But let's go ahead, get all this out, and unbox what we got here. So, first item, VectorVest hat. Fits no matter how big or small your head is, because it's all adjustable here. Black with the white logo. So, if you're interested in rocking a VectorVest hat, here you go. Ooh. So, this is something, the VectorVest Polo has our nice little embroidery there. Material, nice and soft. So, if you guys are on the golf course, this would be a great item to have, or especially with Valentine's Day coming up, if any ladies in here, if your husband is a big golfer, that is definitely going to be something you may want to take a look at as either a Valentine's Day gift or Father's Day, which comes up just a few months from now as well. I've got a brown box. They're selling brown boxes right now. Very, very limited. Actually, let's see what's in the boxes, though. And in the box, we got a VectorVest mug. So, here we go. Now, I'll say this. I'm not going to do it today, but maybe tomorrow or maybe next week, we'll do a giveaway for the mug. So, if you guys want to see a giveaway for the mug next week, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, because you'll have to be a member to the channel to be able to win the mug. But we'll give away the mug next week. Let's see what else we got. Phone cases. So it's a clear one, has a little VectorVest insignia on it. Little rubber, so looks like it'll help make it a little bit more drop resistant. Give it a little bit more shock resistance here. So yeah, this will definitely be going on my phone just a little bit later today. And then we got one more item to show off here today. Let's see what this is. A big white box. So we went with the small brown box. Now we're going with the big white box. I know what this is. Water. Staying hydrated is very, very important, especially as a trader when you're stuck to your computer all day long, you're doing some day trading. Having water is extremely important. So make sure to get a aluminum reusable water bottle from the VectorVest store. Once again, the link is there. It's VectorVest.com or YouTube.com/merchandise. So check that out. If anybody wants any of these items, you can go get them on that site now. It is open, so don't everybody rush over there right now. Let's finish up the stream, and then you guys can all head over to the store and check it out and see what else we got on there. All right. So with that, that's going to do it for the swag bag here. Let me go ahead, put it all back so I don't lose anything. There we go. And if you want anything autographed by Glenn, just make sure to leave it in the comments or in the notes section on the when you're checking out. All right, so without further ado, now that we've got all that, let's go ahead and analyze any stock that you guys want to take a look at. So if you guys have stocks you want to see, go ahead, throw them out into the chat or in the comments section, and let's go ahead and show everybody, especially if you're not already a subscriber, how fast VectorVest can make analyzing any stock out there. While you guys are doing that, as I was talking about, got to get some water real quick. There we go. First one coming in with J, Xro. Let's go take a look. Xro down a little bit today, but this stock still speculative play currently. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk, but high momentum right now. Unfortunately, not enough momentum still at this stage to make this stock favorable overall. But this one has been rocking and rolling for ever since about the lows of about 60 cents a share. There we go. VectorVest.com/merchandise. Thank you for pinning that. Appreciate that there. But yeah, Xro, strong momentum, but definitely still a speculative play at this stage in the game. PFE. PFE, great long-term potential, about average risk associated with it. You are in a steady decline, so overall the stock's about average at best, but with the timing being below 1, tells us stay away. Amazon, AMZN. Amazon, poor long-term potential, but solid fundamentals, so less risk associated with it. Nice steady short-term uptrend. Overall, the stock is definitely favorable. Miss you on the derby. Hey, Paul, appreciate that, Robbie. Glad to see you here today. MUGF. Unfortunately, not traded there. SLB. SLB. There we go. SLB. Great long-term potential. A little less risk than the average stock out there. Timing is a little bit concerning. Typically, I want to see it at 1.1 or higher. At 1.05, tells us it's basically flat on a short-term basis. Overall, it's a good stock, but the timing is definitely something that I'd pay close attention to here. Let's see. NVIDIA, NVDA. NVIDIA, poor long-term potential, but less risk associated with it. Nice, strong short-term uptrend. Overall, the stock is favorable here. Gold, GOLD. Gold, poor long-term potential. A lot of risk associated with it. You do have a strong short-term uptrend. So overall, the stock is a little bit more favorable than the average stock out there currently. KLIC. KLIC. Poor long-term potential. A little less risk than the average stock out there. Really strong short-term momentum. So overall, the stock is favorable. Riot. Mug Evis Canadian Mug. Well, I'm on the U.S. side, Mark. Come on now. All right, Riot. Poor long-term potential, or a little bit more risk associated with it than the average stock out there, telling us this is a speculative play currently. Timing, though, 1.84, really strong short-term uptrend. Overall, makes the stock favorable right now for a speculative trader. APPH. APPH. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. telling us that this is a speculative stock. Looking at the timing, there we go. Looking at the timing, 1.16. It is in a steady uptrend, but not enough to offset the amount of risk involved in the stock, so therefore not favorable right now. All right, I think I got it. STLD. STLD. Good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. Nice steady short-term uptrend. Overall, stock is favorable. Coin. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but you do have some really strong momentum moving behind it right now, so makes the stock favorable for the time being. FNGU. Oh. There we go. FNGU. There we go. So, an ETF makes it easy to analyze. When analyzing any ETF inside of VectorVest, the RV and RS are always going to be pegged at 1. So therefore, all you really have to focus on is the RT. With this one at 1.97, tells us it's in a really, really strong short-term uptrend, basically moving parabolic right now. So overall, yeah, it's going to be favorable here. Let me make sure I get the rest of them here. We'll do a couple more for the day. Meta. META. So Meta up 24% so far for the day. Poor long-term potential, but it does have less risk associated with it. They have great, they have a really solid balance sheet. Company makes money. RT at 1.9 tells us it's in a really strong short-term uptrend. So overall, the stock is favorable. Lifestyle, I didn't see your request there. Not doing it on purpose. Apologize if I went over that. Got a lot of symbols coming in. Crocs, CROX. Crocs, great long-term potential, less risk associated with it. Nice steady short-term uptrend. So overall, the stock is favorable here. Let's see. DOV. Good long-term potential, but does come with a little bit more risk associated with it. You have a really strong short-term uptrend, so overall the stock is favorable. What was it that you were? LAZR. Okay, we'll do that, and we'll do one more after this one. LAZR. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, so it tells us this is speculative play. Timing though, 1.83, really strong momentum behind it right now. So therefore, if you're a momentum trader, yeah, this is a great play. If you're not, if you do care about fundamentals, more of like a swing trader, a prudent investor, probably going to be staying away from this one. Energy, we already did Extro. That was the very first one we started off with today. Gonna have to go back and rewind the stream there. All right, and Goose will be our last one. Let's go see. Goose, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, telling us it's a speculative play. Appreciate that energy. Timing. It was up big, but now dropping 18% has the timing on a short-term basis basically flat. So it's given up a lot of the gains and now moving sideways. Overall, stock is not favorable. This is, with the RV and RS being below 1, tells us this is a speculative play, momentum trade. So, the drop, I'm assuming that's most likely due to earnings. Therefore, you were gambling on that, but you knew it was a speculative play, so be careful. All right. So if I didn't get to analyze your stocks, I do apologize. We had a lot of them thrown out. As always, if you are a subscriber, simply download the app if you don't already have it installed on your Android or iOS device. Sign in using the same username password you use to log into your VectorVest 7. And then tap on that magnifying glass, type in your symbol from wherever you're at on the go, and you can do the same analysis on your own in a matter of seconds. If you're not a subscriber already, what are you waiting for? Click on the link down description below of today's stream, sign up for the 2-week free trial, and put it to the test. As the old saying goes, seeing is believing. So, looking back at the markets now, the Dow still down about 1/3%. NASDAQ up about 3% still. S&P pretty much flat, still up about 1.5%. VectorVest Composite gaining a little bit, up a little over 1.1%. So overall, minus the Dow, the overall markets are moving higher here, especially ones that have key components built up of tech-heavy stocks, because those are really what's driving the markets higher right now. So that market action still has us 3 ticks into the green. So we know the price, the RT, and the buy to sell ratio are still staying at those lofty levels there. Looking at the advanced declines, still sitting at about 66% of stocks moving higher, and about actually 25% of stocks moving lower now. So we have seen the declines pick up by about a full percentage point. Advances staying about where they were at the beginning of the session here. So that's going to do it for me today. As always, come back around 2 o'clock. We have Trending Thursday with my colleague Glenn Tompkins. Highly recommend you come back. He's going to be showing you what news is really driving the markets and how to take advantage of it. So make sure to be there at 2 o'clock for that as well. So that's going to do it for me. So without further ado, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, toodles.